Sweden. This course will help you very briefly to discover many of the resources that are available to help you in your research and a few tips along the way. One of the first things to be aware of is the Swedish alphabet has 3 extra letters. These 3, the 2 A's and the O, with the diacritic marks over them. These are at the end of the alphabet, so make sure if your words are spelled with any of these letters, you will find them at the end of the alphabet, not with the A's or O's where you might expect them. Where do I start? You must have a location, and Sweden is not specific enough. There are too many names that are just the same. Even names that sound very unique are just not. So the parish is where you need to start your research. You discover this from records in the United States where your ancestors immigrated to, and there will be a lot of things, resources that I will refer to shortly that will help you to establish where exactly by parish your ancestors came from. One of the first places that I would start would be to read a few good books. One of the ones that I like and have used extensively to help me when I was just barely getting started is called Your Swedish Roots. It's a very good book, very detailed and basic. It gives examples to help you understand the political, the religious, the records and language and all sorts of things. So this would be a good place to start. Your Swedish Roots. This is available at the BYU Library and many other family history libraries. It's a very good basic book. It's also available for purchase should you want to have your own copy. Another great book is Cradled in Sweden. Sweden's Little Places. This is one I just discovered, and 2 ladies did a 3-volume work extracting all of the farm names and putting them in the correct parishes so you can sort of work from the bottom up to determine where your ancestors were from. Tracing Your Swedish Ancestry is another very good book, and also there are books of parish registers. You can get these online, but there are books that have the actual parish registers. The Swedish parish registers will be where you will be doing the research. In 1686, a law was passed that all of the priests in the 2,500 parishes needed to keep a record of all of the people. And so you basically have fairly good records in most parishes back to this date, sometimes up to 100 years before. And there have been a few fires and floods and different things that have compromised the books, but by and large, they are in fairly decent shape. They've been digitized so many times and are available to search. What are in these registers? How do you search? One of the basic ones is the household exam book. These were kept by the priest. They, to me, seem a little bit like a census, although they are not. The priest had to record everybody who lived in his parish, so he would record them house by house. When somebody died, the name would be crossed out and the date entered. When somebody was married, the names were added. Children were added. When people moved out, a lot of times the priest put where they moved to. When they moved to different parishes, that was also usually noted. There, in addition to the household exam book, there are birth and christening registers. These are the Swedish names underneath each of these categories. Yes, the research is done in Swedish, so you get to be really good friends with Google Translate, or if all else fails, make a really good Swedish-speaking friend. Okay, marriage registers, death and burial registers, and moving in and out. These are great. They show where a person moved to when they moved from parish to parish, or where they came from when they moved in. So this would be the main resource that you would be searching when you are doing research in Sweden. I want to show you just one example. These are births and christenings in 1848. You'll see that in this case, the records are very readable. You can read Amalia, Augusta Elizabeth, Agneta, Amanda Matilda. This is my great-grandmother. She was born in April on the 7th day, christened the 16th. Father Anders Hall, E.M. Brun, age 21 was her mother, and the mother was from Runstang, which gives you the birth parish for the mother, so you can trace her. There are witnesses and other information. But by and large, you learn to read and understand the writing. For example, this is Olson, S-S-O-N, the large S. Andreessen, Andrew's daughter. So it's, again, the research is really quite doable. Now I'd like to just briefly mention 5 online resources where you can get the parish registers and where you can do your research. Some of these are indexes. FamilySearch.org is the first one that I would like to mention. Okay, where do you go first to get help? FamilySearch.org is free. There is no charge for any of this at any time. Get help, I would go first to the Research Wiki. The Wiki is a place that will help you understand how to research, what records are available. And so we will go here to the Sweden page. Again, just to briefly mention this, there's all sorts of information. Talks about the counties and the parishes and all sorts of information, civil registration, court records, and each of these are linked to other pages that will tell you additional information. So that is a great resource. The second place is again under Get Help, and it's called the Learning Center. There are wonderful videos. We'll go down here and click on Sweden. We see that they have 8 lessons. These are online, no charge. Oh, the first 4 are in Swedish. I'm probably not going to look at those, but if you do speak Swedish, they will be helpful, I'm sure. So let's go to the ones that are in English. This bottom one, an introduction to Archive Digital, is very good. It's only a 6-minute long resource, but many of the records that you will be searching will probably be done in Archive Digital, so this is a good place to start. These other 3 are well worth the hour and a half total to watch, because they will teach you how to find records, how to navigate through them, how to search. So I would start by watching each one of these. Immigration. How do you find the parish where your ancestors came from, so you know where to search? Part 2, how to use church records. This helps you to navigate and understand what's there. Part 3 is where records are found on the internet. So again, marvelous resources. and I would go to those places first when I was getting started. Just to briefly mention, we can go to records, and this will get you into look at the records, research by location, so you can see the original records. Click on the area of the world, click on the country. We see 29 collections. These are the years, 22 million indexed records, 24 million images. And so you can click on Start Researching in Sweden, and away you go. So that's very briefly a few of the resources available at familysearch.org. The next resource is Archive Digital. This is a subscription website. It's available for free at most of the family history centers. You can use it while you're there. I think it costs about $200 a year if you want to have a subscription at home. But one of the great things that I found is you can click on Image Database, archivedigital.net, click on, on Swedish genealogy, and this part is free. If you want to look at the records, that's why you need a subscription. But this will help you, Introduction to Church Books, and you click on this link and it will tell you about the church ones, about all of these others, and then it gives wonderful examples so you can see the type of records that you will be looking at. For example, let's just click on the death records and let's look in the late 1800s. So here's an example of the actual document the digitized copy of the document that you would be looking at. And then it tells you the heading transcription and then the translation. So you know the parish, it's a death and burial book, 1874 is the year. And then it goes through and it tells you from these examples the column headings. So it will help you with words like döds or death, month, day, and so on. So this is a lovely resource. Again, Archive Digital, Swedish genealogy pages. You can use these at home for free to learn about doing genealogy. The image database, again, you need a subscription, but the records are similar to those you will see on Family Search. They have been redone and are in color and are sometimes easier to read. The next online website is Ancestry.com. This is a subscription website available for free at the Family Search Center, Family History Centers, but just to see some of the records that are available, let's go to Search All Records, and we're going to we could go ahead and search, but I'm going to go down and click on an area, explore by location, and click on Sweden. And here are the records that are available. The church records from 1500 to 1941. In Swedish, 35 million, and so on. Baptisms from 1611, 26 million. Indexed birth records from 1860 to 41, 12 million. These are free, so you don't need a subscription to search for your indexed birth records in Sweden. All of these other records are available on Ancestry. This is a great resource. Again, you can look at actual copies of the books as well as having some indexes. The fourth website that I wanted to mention is MyHeritage. This has great indexes. They don't have them completed for all areas, but again, this is a great way to search. You can, again, click on the area, click on the country, and then you can do a search and away we go. So here he is in family trees, and there are other records that will come up. This is just pulled up a few matching in the trees, but they have the records. And again, this I've been very successful in finding ancestors in my heritage using their indexes for Swedish records. So that is basically the first 4: Family Search, Archive Digital, Ancestry, and MyHeritage. SVAR is the Swedish National Archives, and this is available at BYU. When you go into their website, you can put in the name of a person, Johann Westman in Romelanda in 1840, click on search, and this is what comes up, the census, and with his name and the birth year and his county and so on. And so then when you click on the record, this is what comes up, and it has his name, the name of the farm where he lives, the parish, it has his family, his wife, her birth, and so on, and children. So SVAR can be another resource in your search for your Swedish relatives. So that is a very quick whirlwind tour of some of the resources that are available to do your family history research in Sweden. Thanks for watching, and look for another of these presentations that will be a little longer and go into a little more depth about each of these record sources. Thank you.